Today we are going to the another part of the Veda, which is called Vedanta. The another philosophy is the twin philosophy, sister philosophy of Mimamsa, which is called Vedanta philosophy. And this section of Veda is completely different than the previous one in the sense that it does not promote or say anything about the ritual aspect, meaning that mainly that this knowledge is related to the self. This knowledge is related something to do with the self. So Adhyatma Vidya is knowledge of self. Brahma Vidya is knowledge of Brahma. Paravidya is knowledge of transcendental experience. So these all the different names has something to do either with the self or with the supreme self or the Brahma or the ultimate truth or absolute truth. We will have many different names to it, so we will use them time to time. You will get familiarized with those, all the technical names, terms, and in Sanskrit it is called Brahma. So the whole thing about this Vedanta or this section of Veda is the self, and means the individual self and the universal self or cosmic consciousness and relation between these two. So this is the subject matter that we study in Vedanta. So the subject matter of Vedanta is the self and the universal self and interaction and relationship between these two. And this is such a huge subject. Volumes are written. Even in this Vedanta, there are many thoughts of Vedanta that are very unique, and they may have some differences at one point that they say it is non-dual, and then they have different names to it also. Mainly it's so popular these days as non-duality, the teachings of non-duality. Mainly in recent history was popularized by the presence of Raman Maharshi and his disciples in the recent times. Very focused study of the self. So there is not much discussions. If you have ever read the books of Raman Maharshi or Nisargadatta Maharaj or Papaji, or right now in this time we have one more famous person as Muji Baba, and these all the people are coming from the same lineage, taking the same tradition of Vedanta. Of course, it has transformed because of the need of the contemporary people. Whatever is needed at this time, the language, these all the expressions, the way it is made accessible to this modern people. There are many other masters also. Some are traditional and some are contemporary. They are having various expressions of the same knowledge of this Vedanta philosophy. Today, because I mentioned that this is very vast and there are many schools of thoughts in Vedanta, one which I have been discussing on the basis of this is Yoga Vasishtha. It's I think one of the oldest testament of Vedanta, where this very, very fundamental discussions on Vedanta has happened between a sage called Vasishtha and Ram. So these are the two important figures of the Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishtha. It's a very, very long and very complex and very easy uh, text which talks about the Vedanta. In this discussion, the things that we are referring comes from that to make it easier, because we need to choose something somewhere. If I choose Shankar Bhashyas, or if I choose Gaudpada or Madhava, Ramanuja, there are so many ways. So what I have chosen is Yoga Vasishtha, because it is something to do with the yoga practitioners, and it's very big discussion, very few fundamental questions. But one more thing that we have in our Indian text and all these uh, philosophies is repetition of the same thing in so many different ways. It is said about the Yoga Vasishtha that there is so much repetition in it that if a stone hears all that, then a stone will get liberated. It's an analogy that which is somehow the, the the underlying message is that if you go into this text, into this Yoga Vasisthas, and surrender yourself into the teachings of it, and even if you are like dumb and the dumbest of humans and maybe stone, you get still liberated. Few questions, 5 chapters and 2 big volumes. Difficult to finish it ever, because it is so much repetition, we get bored into it perhaps. Same thing is there in Bhagavad Gita also, because with Bhagavad Gita we are more familiar and we have more accessibility to it. And in Bhagavad Gita we see the same pattern, repetition of the Gyan, Bhakti, Karma, and few other concepts in so many different ways, in so many different contexts. Because this subject is so complicated, at the same time it is very simple, but it is complicated because we are using this complex figure inside us, or system inside, which is mind. And it has its own ways of functioning. And when we are into grip of the mind, we need so much of repetition and work to bring it to the point. So the same message goes in this. Very few things I will mention here, that what are the essential few statements only, not too much. And these statements are, one statement is nothing exists except absolute consciousness, and the world is imagination of the universal consciousness. One concept of Vedanta is this. Whenever we go into Vedantic teachings, one thing is very clear from the very beginning, that there is one principle which is called Brahma, translated in English as universal consciousness, absolute consciousness. So you universal consciousness, cosmic consciousness, absolute consciousness, or Brahma. Brahma, not the trinity of the Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, not the God, but Brahma in the which is the expression of this universal consciousness in its vast form. And everything that exists is pervaded into this universal consciousness or into the Brahman. So they say that the world or the samsara, which is more popular word these days, especially those who practice yoga, and if you practice Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, then you have the samsara halahala is one of the prayers that you are reciting. So samsara is world. So here they are saying again that nothing exists other than absolute consciousness, Brahman, and rest everything is imagination of this. So in Sanskrit, this is called Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, means that Brahma is truth and rest everything is false. And we will go into the details of this discussion. So this is one sentence which is you have to see in this Vedantic texts repeatedly.
I'm sorry, but can you repeat the Sanskrit?
Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Jagat Mithya. As I promised, I will write down that later on because difficult to write it on the mobile now. So, yeah, and then the next concept. All the misery, suffering that is experienced by the individual beings happens because they mistakenly identify themselves with their body and forget that they are essentially same as the universal consciousness. This is beautiful thing, and I will at the end, because we have to go into the bridging aspect, and I will take this and we will see it more in practical sense, experiential manner, how it works. For now, you understand that the suffering that we are experiencing, if now the question, why this question comes, that if this world is mithya or false or not true or imagination, then why are we suffering? The answer they have given is the suffering is because of misidentification. We have misidentified this universal consciousness with this body. And this misidentification is the cause of misery, of suffering or the pain. And this is a mistake. It is said it is mistakenly identified. So this is the another sentence. So now the solution to it is, since the misery arises out of ignorance of the self, it ends with the knowledge of the self. Now, this identification which has happened, it has happened because of our ignorance, because we have mistaken the reality as something else, and we have placed that reality on the falsehood. So the body which we are identified with is our ignorance that is this causing the identification. In the next sentence, or the concept that we have to see now, let's see more literal, in a more literal sense, what the word Brahma means in few other words in order to get more understanding on it. So the Brahma has another one meaning is called growth. Brahma means like growth, growing. Another means is development. That is also called Brahma. It is also called as expansion. These are the literal meanings I am telling in order to get more holistic understanding of the word Brahman. It is growth, it is development, it is expansion and evolution. And what kind of evolution and growth? It is conveying the growth and evolution of the spirit or the self. When we say Brahman, what are we referring here? Growth, expansion, or evolution of the self. This is the more literal understanding of this word. When we are saying that I am Brahman, means that here we are working with this evolution into the consciousness, growth into the consciousness, and it is represented by this idea of Brahman. Now, Brahman is not a person. It is impersonal unit. It's impersonal spirit. Here, mystic, what happens mostly, especially if you are coming from a very strong religious background and belief system, then in this religious or strong belief systems, whenever it comes to the idea of spirit or God, we try to objectify it. We try to give it a form. We try to give it a shape. And that's where this lot of misconceptions and confusions will arise. So it is impersonal. This Brahman is not male or female. It's neutral. It's nothing to do with the male or female. Because you say Brahman and the another word is Maya, which is called illusion in English. So mistakenly, because we always see in the polarity of language of masculine and feminine, so we mistakenly take this idea of Brahman as masculine and Maya as feminine. Mostly this Maya is the name of the woman, so you just get identified. Oh, Maya, oh, that one, oh, she is really illusion. So, and Brahma is very, sounds very close to the Brahma, which is one of the gods into the trinity of the gods in mythology. So this mythological idea or this gender biasness need to be also removed. When we see Brahman, there's no effort of objectify it. And what are the attributes and actions of it? That everything that is there in this world is arised out of this Brahman. So it is the material cause of visible universe. Whatever we see, what is that? It is the material cause of that. So material cause of visible universe is Brahman. But then if you say what is the cause of Brahman, then this question cannot be asked. You remember? And if you don't, then you understand now that there are certain questions that philosophy will say no to ask, because it will lead towards the, again, going to that situation where we may not find anything. So here it is said the Brahman is the cause of everything, material cause of everything, but there is no cause of it. So there is no further discussion on it. Brahman is so absolute and it is cause of everything. What is the cause of it? Nothing. Itself. So there is no cause of Brahman itself, Otherwise, then we continue to go into this. Okay, if we say the cause of Brahman is this, then we go into the same confusion again. Then we say, okay, this, then we go. No, not like that. We have to stop and see that there is no cause of Brahman. It is uncaused, but cause of everything. Yes.
That's the starting point of Samkhya as well. No?
No, Sankhya does not say about Brahman. Also Sankhya say, but here in Sankhya, this is dual philosophy. So it says that Purusha and Prakriti. And then what is the cause of Purusha? They say no, nothing. What is the cause of Prakriti? Then Sattva, Raj and Tam. And before that, nothing. But in Vedanta, one step back. If we see the Bhagavad Gita and this evolution in perhaps in the 14th chapter, we will see that they say that these all the Purusha and Prakriti has come out of the womb of Brahman. So Vedanta, Sankhya philosophy is going like, the Vedanta is saying like this. Sankhya will begin from the next step. But Vedanta goes one more step and says that everything has come out of the Brahma. So that's the difference. We'll see when we talk more on Sankhya, what is this duality and all. For now, Vedanta says this, that everything is caused by the Brahma. So this is one concept. Now, so all the dualities of life belongs to it. Good, bad, day, night, subtle, gross, perfection, imperfection, misery, freedom, truth, bondage, liberation. Means everything goes to this womb of the Brahma. It all belongs to it. So the dualities will be also merged into it. That's the beauty in Vedanta, that it takes away all the dualities. Because dualities are causing a lot of mental chatter and so much difficulty for us. So this takes away that by saying that everything is in the Brahman. So all dualities belongs to Brahman. They are not separate. So actually it leaves nothing for you to wonder about. That what is this and what is that. It ends all the questions by saying it comes from the Brahman. Absolute truth. Now remember, when we are saying that, when they are saying truth or untruth, the meaning is that if truth is that which does not change. What is truth according to this Vedantic understanding? That which does not change. Anything that which changes is not truth. And what is untruth? That which changes. That which is having its temporary existence. It means that if it has a cause and if it is arised, then it will end. Whereas the case with Brahman is different, because it has not arisen, so it will never reach to any end. So what is truth? Is that which exists eternally. That which does not undergo the change is the truth, in the special meaning in Vedantic understanding. Whatever that which changes is not true according to Vedanta. So everything, all the attributes, all the attributes that we have inside, they change. The body is changing. You can change your name. You can change your passport. You can change your partners. You can change your house. You can change the country. You can change almost everything. Whatever that which is changeable is untrue. That which remains, now interesting thing is, even from the physics point of view, scientific point of view, if something is changing, it must have a referral point which is not changing. Otherwise, that change has no significance. Something is there. That is what they called Brahman. That which does not change. That which is eternal. That is the referral point, and rest everything is changeable. If you are having some arguments and questions in your head, don't worry, I will raise them. So you just be with it. I will raise more questions than maybe you have. So to understand that this all the phenomenal world that we see is an untruth, unreal, because it changes. Because it came into the being at certain time in the past, it means that it will not be there forever. Anything that has come, it has to go. In Bhagavad Gita, it is explained so clearly that we are continuum of this energy which continues, and we take the body like the clothes. We are given these bodies as clothes. As we remove our shirt or the clothes aside, similarly we change the bodies. But what continues is that truth. That eternal truth, self. So in Bhagavad Gita it is said, there is nothing to lament upon. Nothing. Because anything that which you see is bound to go, because it has come at a certain point of time. It cannot exist forever. Then what are you lamenting for? That which has gone, or that which is supposed to be gone. So this is the link that this Vedanta is establishing here between what is changeable and what is not changeable. And what is not changeable is the referral point to the Vedanta. They always go to that which is not changing. The problem with us is when we find ourselves into this pain or all kinds of stress, all kinds of mental chatter and depression, anxiety, is that which is changing we identify, and when it changes I feel like I am no more. But the truth is that it is different than that. It is separate. So we further go into that. This Brahman is unchanging ever, existing forever, conscious, and another quality that they have added is it's blissful. So Sat means truth, Chit means consciousness, Ananda is bliss. Satchidananda It is a very famous sentence again in Vedantic, those who are in your non-dualities teachings, Satchidananda. So who are you? I am. Sat means eternal. Chit means consciousness. Anand means bliss. We sing this Satchidanand Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. Chidan, also called Chid Anand. So here Chit means consciousness, that which flows, that which does not change. So the Vedanta has actually given a very, very higher standard of thinking. From the philosophical point of view, it is thinking. Whereas in many other philosophies, we are bound and we are even labeled as sinful. This is the big difference to those cultures, to those religions and faiths and the thoughts where we are said that you are nothing but you are the result of sin. You are sin. So you are fallen from the heaven and you cannot be, one with God. And we are given this inferior feeling from the beginning. You are limited and your limitations are these. Vedanta is such a mind-blowing thought. It takes away all the limitations, not at least for this lecture, this much time, tiny moments of feeling that, oh my God, I'm not limited. I'm not that box that I'm given to be in. And I'm expanded consciousness. I'm universal consciousness. This mere idea is so liberating. So liberating that then what the hell am I doing here? The question comes that what am I doing? But then your bills will come and they will say, oh no, you are limited. Your telephone bills, all the bills, and if you want to hear this lecture, then there is something. You have to also pay for it. So this is the whole range of contraction we go. One expansion that I am universe, I am universal consciousness, I am unchanging, I am eternal. Everything that is happening is like a wave in the ocean. So in the wave, in the ocean, these waves has no existence because they are part of the ocean. This is ocean. This wave is not different than ocean. This is the explanation they have given. You are like a wave in this ocean of the world. Pure consciousness. But this wave, when it rises higher, it thinks, okay, nobody is bigger than me here. And I am this and I am that, and it causes whole problem, and the wave falls back. And it becomes one with that. So same like in the ocean, the wave does not have its individual existence. Similarly, in this Vedantic thought, we are expressions of the divine, the expressions of the universal consciousness, cosmic consciousness, absolute consciousness, or Brahma. This is the expression that they have given. So in this way, we can say the ocean is the truth and the wave is false, mithya. So The ocean is the truth and the world is false. The world is like this wave, ever changing. And what is that which is ever changing? That it does not have its independent existence. Like anything that which is changing has no independent. The wave cannot exist if there is no ocean. This wave is existing merely because there is existence of ocean. If there is no ocean, there cannot be any wave. So the change that we see is only on the surface. Just as the sea is quiet at the bottom and it has waves on the top. There may be sometimes tsunami, then it blows everything. But more or less, the ocean is calm and quiet at the bottom, and the waves are constantly changing. So Yoga Vasistha is saying that this phenomenal world grows out of imagination of Brahman, this universal consciousness. So it's like a dream, which means it's not real. Yet it appears real due to our ignorance, but just as dreams are unreal, but as soon as you wake up, we come back to reality. This waking up is the idea of Brahman, that wake up to the reality, wake up to your potential. Not in when we say potential, not in terms of your capacity to work, earn money. This word potential is so downgraded by saying your potential is to earn more, your potential is that you can be on the top. That not in that sense we are saying this potential, but in a very fundamental sense, to wake up to one's potential means to be the Brahman. Mostly this word potential is so much used in a very downgraded sense or in a very physical sense. But when we are saying this potential means that we are Brahman. And it is nothing to do with your ability to earn or you have multi-billion dollar billion business, all those hype these self-help world market is telling us, not that. So in this way, another aspect is that the one sentence that they have given is that I am Brahman. I am. There are 3-4 sentences I will say. These are the main sentences, and these sentences are the study of Vedanta. One sentence is Prajnanam Brahman, like the consciousness is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahman means that consciousness is Brahman. So this is the nature, property. What is Brahman? Consciousness. Second sentence is Tattvamasi, means you are that. So now in which context this sentence will come? When the teacher teaches to the student about the Brahma, then we will say you are that. Tattvamasi, Means the teacher is saying that you are not this limited being, you are that. Means you are Brahman. Same, we will have the same meaning all the sentences, little different words. One sentence is a like statement, consciousness is Brahman. In relation to student and teacher, when this is preposition used, the teacher says you are that, means you are consciousness, you are Brahman. In the third context, it is say aham brahmasmi. After one has given enough thought, introspection, meditation, you realize that I am Brahman, I am consciousness. But it comes after much work has been done. It is not just mental repetition, but experience. And in a more personal way, it will come out in the sentence saying, I am Atman Brahma, means that the very self is Brahman. It is so personal. It is experience that I am Brahman. And this self is Brahman and everything is Brahman. These are the 4 sentences that the Vedanta student has to reflect upon, and this is what the meditation is. And perhaps all these Advaita Vedantic masters, even in the contemporary times and modern times, are also doing the same thing. In different words, but they are bringing us to this fact, this experience that you are that. I am, then they say like this, you are that, and this person sits into the reflection, I am Brahman. And then further goes that this very self is Brahman and everything is Brahman. Sarvidam khalvid, the all is Brahman. The last one is all is Brahman. This is the 5th sentence. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahman means that everything is Brahman. Everything is but these all the sentences comes, these all the expressions comes as a result of deep study. Remember one thing, very interestingly, in the previous philosophy also, as I said, however, they are orthodox philosophies. But very interestingly, in Vedanta also, it is not necessary to have a belief in any God. They have not made it compulsory that if you want to understand Vedanta, you have to understand it, you have to accept authority of some God or something. Nothing, because they are so bold, they are so courageous, because they have said, you are Brahman, I am Brahman, and everything is Brahman, all is Brahman. Means they are so mind-blowing, saying break all the boundaries. You don't need any God, you don't need any authority, you don't need anyone, not in the sense of this ego, which some other philosophies has done. Like these philosophies, they say hedonist, or I just forget the names, the Western philosophies, they use it in a very negative sense. When they say that, need to recall that sentence. Wait. Yeah, they say, there's one sentence which says, nothing exists. Nihilism. It is called nihilism. It negates all meaning into the life, all aspects of life. This life has no meaning. Not this way. When Vedanta is saying this statement, it is not in this sense that everything is unreal, everything is false. Not in this sense that is meaningless, but they say that there is something that which is eternally meaningful. Look into that. Not limit yourself to that which changes every time. Showing a bigger picture. The famous story can be used for this, like this lion who has been raised by the what do you call them, sheep, and the sheep herd raised them like a sheep, and this lion this cub has forgotten its true nature, and once there was this group of sheep were attacked by a lion, and this lion was also running just like the sheep, and this lion got shocked. What is this? Why this calf is running? They catch him and then, you are a lion. He said, no, I am sheep. And then maybe slap him once and took him to the pond and see, look, you are that. You are me. You are lion. And then he could not, no, I am not. No, look, roar like me. And then he said, no, not like a lion. And then he does it. What is to be achieved? Nothing. This is exactly what Vedanta is taking us to this experience. So hedonism says that only pleasure, like Charvaks in India, Indian philosophy, they said you indulge yourself into the pleasures. There is nothing after that. There is no sin. There is no virtue. There is nothing. Enjoy your life. What the hell are you doing here? Go and enjoy. Why are you so serious? You are young. You are beautiful. So many people follow you. Go and enjoy. Nothing exists. This is also misleading. Yes, unless we are having that fun, that kind of trust, okay, this will bring something, we do that. Exactly, this is what the process is. But when we have ran enough, get exhausted, lost all the hope, and then we see it makes sense. Vedanta will not make sense to everyone. That's the complexity, and there's a lot of fun you can make about Vedanta. I don't have much time to make much fun, but we go forward now. Otherwise, there are many stories that we can have for Vedantic people, and oh, what the nonsense are you talking about, this and that, and look, you are so limited, and you are this and you are that. So another is that only I exist. This is another philosophy, solipsism and something. I don't know what is that. But they say that only I exist. It is different. How it is different? The Vedanta says that everything that exists is nothing but I. Look at the attitude here. This philosophy is saying only I exist. It can be misunderstood as Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. No, it's completely different than that. It is saying everything that exists is nothing but I. I am Brahman. Means I am not separating myself for any entity. I am part of this ecology. I am one with it. Is this beauty into it? This is how it differentiates with all those philosophies that are based on limited thoughts. And these are the all objections that some other philosophers will raise, but they are so clearly mentioned that what is the difference here when Vedanta is saying something. So Vedanta says that the liberation for all is the idea. It is so secular. Even though in the Yoga Vasishtha, the sage Vasishtha and Lord Rama are having this dialogue, it goes to some mythological links. But if you read the whole Yoga Vasishtha, you don't have to be a believer in God. You don't have to be in a certain faith. No ritual, no worship, no authority to anything and anyone, not even meditation. This may not be true for us, but yes, this is no, what meditation? You are that, and the moment you know, the problem is solved. The meditation is required for those who are stones. If you are not a stone, if you just get the message once that you are lion and you see it, yeah, I am lion and I roar like a lion, then what meditation this lion need to do to be the lion? But we need that meditation to really believe that I am. So we have long way to go. We can have the business because of this. If you just know once I said you are Brahman, business is finished. There are no more online classes exist. I'll be jobless. So thank you for not understanding it. But please, I hope that this is the last class for you. And for me also, that I will stop doing this. But this whole funny thing is because we are, now the question again comes that if it is that simple, that you told that I am Brahman and I know I am Brahman, then the problem is solved. It is that simple. So we are wondering then, if our true nature is blissful and if our misery is caused by this illusion, ignorance, why can't we realize this simple fact just being told that you are Brahman? What is the problem? What is the need for so much discussions and volumes of scriptures written for that? Repeatedly, this Yoga Vasishtha is so big book, so difficult to read it completely. So much repetition. You said just now, you said, and there are so many angles taken. The sage Vasishtha says to Rama, and then Rama raised the question, and he starts from the beginning all over again. So patient teacher. Repeats everything, and he say, no, I didn't understand. Okay, again. That's why it is so big. And then what happens? Then Rama understood, and he becomes like the teacher, and he tells Vasishtha, this is the truth. And Vasishtha becomes a student, and he raised the question, asked the question to Rama, and the same discussion continues like that. So the idea is that it is that simple, but the difficulty is our eyes are not open to the truth. Our conditioning is so deep that before opening our eyes, we ask a million questions. Come back to the sentence. It has the secret in it. Why don't we awaken? Because we only ask questions. They say, open your eyes. The truth is staring you like that. No, I will ask the question only keeping my eyes closed. Why am I miserable? So I ask million questions like this. Eyes are closed. The truth is in front of me. The Brahman is there. The consciousness is there. And I have no idea what is happening. Then I can continue forever. Understand? Sorry, it cannot be understood that easily. Now I will give you the bridge. What is happening in this case? What is actually causing all this confusion to us? And this confusion is caused because our experience of consciousness is fragmented. We don't experience, we don't know, we don't have any experience of that consciousness, that pure consciousness. What are we aware of? Only one thing, that is body. And how much we are aware of that? So much confusion. We only know one thing, that I am this body, and I have so much illusion about it. So much illusion. So these two questions, what are the subject matter of Vedanta study is I means you, whatsoever it is. So whatever is this I, this is a whole discussion on it. Are you this body? Are you this name? Are you belong to these parents? Do you belong to this? Does it belong to you? Or you belong to that? Hundreds of questions you can ask. But what are we aware of here? Only one thing, that is the body. Now, the one problem which has happened is why we are having so much difficulty, because we have no idea of that which is unconscious, that which is matter. So there are two things now, consciousness and matter. You cannot directly understand consciousness if you have not understood matter. That's why this Vedanta is like poison to those who escape from the world, saying it is Maya, it is illusion, and running away from the responsibilities of life and escape and hide into this umbrella of Vedanta, bring bad name to Vedanta, and inside they feel always, oh my God, I'm wasting my life like that. Very difficult to really say that you are facing the truth, experiencing the consciousness, or in the name of this Vedantic study, you're running away from the matter, from the life, responsibilities, or whatever the things happening inside you. A large number of people who go in, and now I am seeing it particularly, if a huge number of people are following the Vedanta studies, they are escapists. They have run away and they found this very good thought and take the shelter of the thought, merely thought. Nothing happens. If I don't have this experience that I am consciousness, then there's nothing which will happen with this Vedantic study. So what is needed for us, bridging this gap, is to experience the body, experience the matter, experience that which is unconscious. And so much unconscious stuff inside, We need to be conscious to that right from the beginning of this gross body. Then only we will reach to that ananda, that bliss, which is our true nature. It is not a superimposition of a thought. So we have taken this literally and we have made a huge mess into our lives. I am strong. And inside you are shaking with the fear. Oh my God, I'm not strong. But no, Vedanta said you are Brahman, so I am strong. And inside your feet are shaking like this. I can't stand here. It's so fearful, so much tension. But you are strong. Then we cannot experience the universal consciousness like that. If we are shaking like that, there's no chance. And we are superimposing this thought. This is what mistake has happened, that we have put this covering on this false thing, and this false idea will fall one day. So your Vedanta will also fall, your non-duality teachings will fall, when the real moments of life where you really need to experience that trembling. If you have not experienced that trembling fully, you cannot experience the ultimate truth. You cannot experience that Brahman. It's not possible. And that's why living in this life, and that's where I bridge the gap again, that practice of yoga does this work beautifully. Starting from your fear of falling in headstand. I'm strong. The men say I'm strong and women are weak. Bring them and ask them to do Surya Namaskaras, A and B, and Chaturangas. They will not show up. Because the false idea of a strong strength has fallen there. This is no, this yoga is for women. Then they escape from it. I am a macho man. I lift weights. And you can't lift your own body weight. You may lift double weight than you, but you don't know how to lift your own body. Not even on your legs. Forget the head. So when you are not able to stand your weight on your legs, then how can you stand on your head? Here our Vedanta fails. So we learn to stand on the legs, especially if you are practicing Iyengar yoga, and Iyengar ji is teaching, and he will make you feel like mountain on your legs. So strong, so firm, so grounded that nothing can shake you. And if you shake, then they hit your butt. And then you get all these slaps, and you gradually, means with the total experience of your reality, that I'm shaking my legs in Trikonasana or some other posture, Virabhadrasana, I'm experiencing my truth into that moment, that I am Brahman. Then it will make sense, because you are strong in your legs and you accept, okay, they are shaking, but I am Brahman. So when we are able to be conscious to our unconscious parts or aspects of subconscious mind, unconscious mind, collective unconscious, all those aspects, you keep on opening those layers and seeing them with naked eyes, facing the truth. So all those things like I'm competent, but then one day you find yourself, you are lazy, you don't want to get out of the bed. And that's also your freaking truth, that you are lazy. But you have to show you the world, because yesterday you told that I am thriving with energy. I am energy. And you're lazy energy. One day you are compassionate and loving parent. Next moment your child frustrates you and you shake up the child like, leave me alone. Oh, you are consciousness. Just remind you are consciousness. You are disturbed by a 1-year child so much that you start to pull your hairs. They say, I need a space. And they fight, the man and woman, that you are not taking care of it and my life has become hell and blah, blah, blah. Yes, we both need to work. And so this loving and so compassionate parent becomes that. That is our another duality. So all these sentences of consciousness and all that are false. So by understanding the body, by understanding the, not understanding here, but really experiencing one's body, which is made of the 5 elements, and then seeing it outside also, that everything that is there around me is nothing but matter, means combination and permutation of these 5 elements. We start to see the Brahman in everything. When we sit in the presence of a river, we experience that pure consciousness, that I am these 5 elements and all these 5 elements exist here. This is what the Vedanta means, that everything is Brahman, all is Brahman, because all is one. When I have understood the matter, when I have understood the futility of or impermanence of this changing world into our thoughts, into the body, into the emotions at all levels, and if I am conscious of that, then I see it everywhere. This is what the expansion of consciousness means. This is what means that I am Brahman, because then I am able to see it, me everywhere. Then that calf, that cow with whom you have taken the picture in Rishikesh, you can't have it on your plate because you are so lovingly taking selfie with it, making the same face like that, like this cow. You can't eat that cow on your plate there because that cow was so loving, and you can't eat that cow which is so loving to you in this moment. So the separation falls. In this way, this Vedanta need to be applied into experience. And the one practice which I have mentioned in the very beginning, what helps us is this: the remembrance, constant remembrance of a center when we are with the world. That's how we will be able to see that there is consciousness and there is matter and they are separate. If I am able to be with this, which is all the time, and if I'm listening myself at the same time I'm talking, then I can see this gap which is identified otherwise. So placing this gap between this which is unchanging and this which is ever changing is yoga, is the teaching of Vedanta. And it cannot exist in separation to life. So if we have one more practice we can add to see the futility of the world, everything. If we start to see anything and we see this is so futile, this is so impermanent, then that unnecessary identification that which I have placed on it and the extra value that I have imposed on it start to dissolve. Then I'm able to see the things in much clearer perspective. Then I'm following Vedanta in its true sense. Not necessarily you have to read Yoga Vasishtha for that. So remember that this time, in this age, we need more grounding practice. Perhaps when these Vedantic texts were created, for that consciousness that these people were having, just by having this inquiry, they got clear. But all the conditionings has so deeply imbibed inside our bodies, into the cells, into the tissues, then we have to free up in that level. Going to the body and freeing the cells and the tissues of the identifications that we have with the flesh, with this gross body. Yoga Nidra practice works as a beautiful way or means to see that separation to all this phenomenon and seeing the futility of the things. So I propose for this Vedanta, relaxation is the first step. This all the big things out Vedanta, if it does not come into your experience, into the body as relaxation, it will not work. Which will naturally expand into the self-awareness, and then we start to become aware of everything and seeing this and all this changing phenomenon, coming back to this referral point again and again and again and again, then we start to see the reality. So this is self-awareness. And then all this will cause also this requires acceptance to what is, non-reaction to what is. Then we are so much closer to Vedanta. These are the three steps. We all lose, we fall just like babies without regretting. Stand up and start from here again. And this is what our journey is, that I fall and I stand up. Not with ego, natural phenomenon. No, I have fallen and I will show you, I will stand one day like that. No, this is not going to work like this. So natural that I fall, I stand. No, there's no I and nothing here. Like the baby falls and gets up. That's all. I think it is enough for today. Thank you very much.